Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm tired, you guys.
I love you guys. It's me, Nina Takesh. If you're new to this channel, this is very normal. I'm a little cuckoo. I wanted to share with you today. Thank you for following me on this fantastic journey. I wanted to share with you today something that really inspired me and touched on so many aha moments. Aha after aha after aha. Follow me. And since so many of you asked, today I am wearing a brand new top from C. This is the fall winter collection with its beautiful intricate design and little pom-poms at the end of the ties. My jeans are a Goldie. These are super comfortable. They are a straight leg, high waist, beautiful denim. My shoes are the real, and I can't tell you how comfortable these are. They're old, and they're by Derek Lam. Welcome back, lovelies. We are now in my bedroom again. We are in my room because, as I promised, we're going to be changing up every episode. I'll be in different parts of the house. Today I'm going to be in the master, shall I say primary. I love the reflection of the rose. I think it makes for very soft light. It's probably better for filming. I probably look younger, so here we are. Today, I'm going to do an episode that I think is really going to be a little bit transformative. It was for me. This is my, I do these episodes from my life experience, from the things that happen around me as a designer. And one thing that happened last week that I wanted to share with you guys was meeting this fantastic author by the name of Melissa Penfold. So here is her new book, Living Well by Design, Melissa Penfold. She is an Australian interior designer, and I met her at an event. I was invited by my beautiful friend Andrea Scharf to the Bel Air Hotel, and if you guys haven't been to the Bel Air Hotel, it is one of the most gorgeous hotels in our area in Los Angeles, and Oprah always stays there, so you know it's beautiful. And in this gorgeous hotel, which maybe we'll put some imagery in up here so that you get the vibe of this brunch that we were at. Anyway, Melissa, she gave us a presentation on what it meant to her to be living well by design, which is the title of her book. And I needed to share some of the aha moments that I experienced while I was at this gorgeous luncheon. I found Melissa to be very funny. She has a dry, sarcastic sense of humor, which I really enjoyed, and we laughed. And one of the things that she said that I know you guys are going to identify with is she said, "Oh, recess lighting is awful." I can't do Australian. I can do English, but Australian was not. That was pretty bad. Anyway, she said, awful recess lighting. She doesn't like it because when people go to her home or when she goes to somebody's home, and if she doesn't look good, she doesn't feel good, she actually leaves. I thought I was a little bit exaggerated when I said, if you don't have good lighting, people don't feel well, but it's actually true across the board, across the pond even, across the world, where you want to create mood lighting and you want to create beautiful spaces. You want to look good in those spaces. You want to invite people and you want people to feel comfortable in your home. So one of the takeaways was this notion of making your guests and making yourself feel really comfortable in a house. And I'm going to share with you some of these aha moments that even I, as an interior designer who has studied interior design, who has clients, who has all sorts of, who spends a tremendous amount of time updating myself and figuring out what's going on in the industry, had a moment where I'd realized, I need to do more of this. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So do not click away. So as I was leafing through her beautiful book, by the way, this is a great book to buy. I'm going to definitely link it in the description section because not only is it a beautiful book, but it's also a great coffee table book. I think it just looks great anywhere you put it. But the imagery is very powerful, and it's not just her house. She has photographed her own country home from Australia in this book, and she talks about it beautifully. She describes her home beautifully and how it is that she styles her home. And I just love her approach to styling. And one of the things that I really thought was interesting is the way that she incorporates the outdoors, and I mean literally the outdoors in. And the way that she does that is by making sure that her house is completely styled at all times, but in a fuss-free way. So an example she gave was she's on her way to her country house. She doesn't have time to, pick up fancy flowers and go to the flower market. So you can either go to your local supermarket or, as she does, go to the local farmer's market and pick out some vegetables and some vegetables. So we're not even talking fruits, people. We're talking a bag of potatoes. We're talking lettuce. We're talking apples. Okay, some fruit. Greenery, lots of greenery. I mean, how much does a bag of potatoes cost? Not much. How much does a bowl full of tomatoes cost? Not much. And you can actually use your props. And if you don't use your props, it's okay, because you would have spent a little bit of money buying flowers maybe, and instead you're buying props, and these props make her happy. So she'll go to her country home, she'll plop a bowl. So just like you see in this photo, that is a kitchen that I believe she styled, or at least somebody she knows styled. And what she has done in this particular photo, and what she's trying to illustrate, is buy a bunch of lettuce, and she'll pop it into these really interesting canisters that she's gotten at flea markets or at estate sales. You guys know how much I love estate sales. I have found the best items on the planet at estate sales, and so has Melissa. We have actually a lot in common, and we bonded. So I think I'm gonna have her on the red elevator. I just had another aha moment. I'm gonna have her sitting next to me, and I'm going to have her share some of her wisdom with you, because I really enjoyed her humor, and I really enjoyed listening to all of her wisdom. So what can we do to mimic this? We could buy a bunch of lettuce. We're going to put them in different bowls. You can see some olive branches. Whatever you have in your garden, just literally go out there with some shears and snip away. Don't even think about it. Snip, 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 and then throw them in. The more unprimped, the more abstract, the more haphazard, the better. What you want to do is you want to create these moments of comfort or these moments of interest in your home, and you just want to throw them on the counters. And so I think this kitchen that we're looking at right now in this image with the apples on the left side, let's talk about the 3-tier cake stand. Another trick of hers that I love is also to hang all of your brass pots and pans. It's back, they're not brass, what am I saying? It's copper. So if you have copper, you know they're expensive, and you can actually get them at estate sales for minimal, because a lot of people used to cook in copper, and I think they're beautiful. Food tastes better in them. But even if you don't want to cook in them and you just want to decorate with them, buy these copper beautiful pans and just display them haphazardly, as I said. We don't need order when we're doing decor. That's the one place where order can actually cease to exist. You want to have order when you do the placement of your furniture, and you want to make sure it's absolutely centered with the room and the angles and the size. But when you do decor, that's what makes it elevated. That's what makes it extra chic. You want to bring in some whimsy, and the way to do that is by, she said, and I clocked, and I love, and I knew it in my core, but I hadn't really thought about it, and that is a 3-layer cake plate. I'm going to link a few cake plates below so you guys don't have to go searching all over the internet for them, the ones that I approve of. Put them in your kitchen, put them on a table. I don't care where you put them in the entrance of your home on a console. And then layer them with fruits and leaves. Get the leaves from outside, get a bunch of apples, get them on sale, whatever, and throw them in there. And I think they make the most gorgeous decor. And in fact, I'm going to be doing this from now onward. I am not going to be without my 3-layer cake plate, without my fruits and vegetables and my leaves. I was so inspired, and I was so excited that I'm doing this. And so I will show you guys. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you would have seen a little bit about this event. So it's really a great idea. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, because my handles will come up on the screen. The reason is that I share a lot of sort of interesting ways for you to style, and new things that I discover along the way. Not just my ideas from other interior designers. We're always in contact, we're always sharing, we're always trying to spread the word on how to make your home beautiful. So I'm opening up the page to Melissa's country dining room. I especially love this room, and she talked about this room during her speech during my luncheon with her. And what she said is that it took her no more than 10 minutes to put this table together, and it was for a photo shoot. 10 minutes, I kid you not. She had a bunch of lemons. She had these beautiful flowers happen to be growing in her garden. She's in the countryside, so she has access to more things. But she literally grabbed a bunch of flowers that she put in this white Wedgwood vase. She put her white china in here. She brought rosemary, is a very drought-tolerant plant. She has it all over her gardens, and it really is, for us who live in California, or actually in many, many parts of the United States and the world, if you need drought-tolerant plants, you got to get rosemary. That was something that she really emphasized. And you can see in this photo that she's literally cut the rosemary, which has a beautiful scent, and she's thrown them in this vase that has a little bit of eclectic sort of blue swirls and lines on it. And this table came together because of the fact that it's not fussy. The table itself is a reclaimed piece of wood that she had. I mean, this table is probably the simplest item that she has in her house. So I really love how this was styled. I love the fact that it has that sort of that earthy vibe. It really has the non-fussy vibe, but it just looks really elevated and elegant. Now, looking at her dining room, dissecting it a little bit more, I wanted to point out something very important that was another aha moment. She said, if you collect 1 or 2 good pieces a year, in 20 years, you will have 40 good pieces. And I absolutely believe in that. I don't buy personally any disposable furniture. I find that it costs a lot more to buy disposable furniture because you're going to have to dispose of it. Whereas if you buy a good piece of antique, even a good piece of vintage, it's not about how much money you spend on it, it's about quality. So if you can find quality at an antique shop or a high-end store or an estate sale or online on Cherish, so forth, then that is a good piece. And antique pieces, although are old, can really stand the test of time, especially when you mix them in with beautiful current items. Someone asked the following question. She said, I have a very traditional home. It feels very dated. You know, how much can I update? To what point do I stop? And that I thought was a very interesting question, because if you have a home that's traditional, and chances are you're not buying furniture every day, and you want to update it, what should you do? And this was another aha moment. She said, if you want to update, you got to do 70-30. And I absolutely agree with her. 70% of what's already in your home that's traditional, because you're not going to throw everything out, and you have probably pieces you love. You probably love 70% of your items, and 30% you can bring in something that's somewhat trendy. So you can trickle in pieces, decorative items, you know, such as this vase. I mean, this vase I bought at H&M. This is a 30% vase. I'm going to have it maybe a year, maybe 2. It wasn't expensive. It looks expensive, and I will enjoy it. I will put, you know, flowers in it, just as I mentioned, haphazardly, you know, wild flowers that I got at the market. And then in a couple years, when this sort of trend of this sort of bubble type vases are out, or I'm tired of it, I just get rid of it. But the basis of this furniture remains the same. These chairs, for example, just to make my point, I purchased, I want to say 20 years ago. Now, they were a different pattern, they were a different fabric. This is the exact same club chair I purchased about 20 years ago. It was in my old master bedroom, and it was a black and white sort of floral pattern, which was great at the time because it matched my room. And when I moved to this house that I built from scratch, I had the vision that I was going to reuse them. Again, we want to reuse our pieces, but I just had them upholstered in this gorgeous rose velvet. So 70-30 is definitely a good rule to keep in mind. Another image I love from this book is the cake plate that we talked about, the 3-tier cake plate with these grapes and apples. You guys, this is nothing new, but notice how we forget the fundamentals of interior design. Even as interior designers, we forget, and we try and do new things. But going back to what they were doing in the Renaissance period, if you guys remember the oil paintings, if you've been to the Louvre or any museum really that has European history, you'll notice there's a lot of imagery, still lifes with fruits and vegetables, and creating that. Not only was it worthy of Michelangelo and all sorts of other painters to paint, but it was worthy of decor. So it should be still worthy of decor today. And I am begging you guys to do this. Just bite the bullet, buy the grapes, buy the apples, and put them in. Lastly, I wanted to talk about, we were having fun behind the scenes. I won't even bore you with it. We want to talk about wood, and not that kind of wood, tree wood. To talk about. So if you see this image of firewood, we're talking a plethora of firewood placed in these shelves. I mean, how gorgeous is that? That in itself to me is an art statement. Not all of us have 55 shelves that we can, stuff with firewood, but you can certainly create moments where you're adding firewood to your bookshelves or in a basket, especially if you live, in the East Coast. Even if you live in California, we do this all the time. Even if you have a gas fireplace and you use faux wood, we still bring wood. Why? People love bringing the nature in. And especially when it's coupled with these beautiful branches. I know these were cut outside from a beautiful, tree. Magnolia trees, by the way, I plant them specifically because I want to cut their branches and I want to bring them into my foyer. So if there's a special tree that you like or special leaves that you like, plant them. Plant them anywhere in your house and enjoy them, watch them grow, foster them, love them, and then stick them in a beautiful pottery in your home and really just live your best life. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into my gorgeous Melissa Penfold book that just came out. This will be linked in the description section. She doesn't even know I'm doing this video. This is going to be a surprise. So I'm going to surprise her. I hope she likes it. I hope you guys enjoy this book, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Let me know if you want me to do more book reviews. Let me know. Have a good weekend. We'll see you again next Sunday right here on the Red Elevator.